All right, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. So, as you can see, well, let's just wait for some people to arrive and then we'll get started. Can we do a mic check and a visual check? Hope you guys are good. Mic check, visual check. We're getting ready for non-farm payrolls here in about 5 minutes. So that'll be exciting. What's up, Cam? Good morning, dude. How you doing? How's the summer break treating you? And Cam, you can hear the mic all right? Enjoying trading? Yeah, I can imagine, man. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's probably nice without all the distractions. That's awesome. All right, well, we got non-farm in 5 minutes. I guess we will, I'm not really going to focus on just the Nasdaq. I'm going to focus on, whatever we want to trade. So I put in the title of the YouTube video, easy trend trading, because I just thought about it. There's a lot of streams out there and I would like to get more people into our stream. And I don't think it helps if it's complicated, right? So I want it to be easy for people to follow along. And if I'm looking for all kinds of different trades, it might be a little harder for people to follow along. So let's just try and experiment the next few days and see what happens for you guys when we just look for trends. Because there's been, a lot of decent trends. If you just wait for those, they're probably the easiest to trade. So I kind of want everybody to have, as much success as possible, as early as possible. And like Cam, you're having success with reversals is awesome. You're picking that up. I can trade reversals, trends, congestion, whatever I want, but I want the most amount of people to benefit. And I think trends are probably the easiest way to stay focused and start getting payouts. And I feel like my job leading VolPro Edge is more to get as many of you to like consistency and payouts as I can as quickly as possible. I think the easiest way to do that will be trends. So it's basically, I've been looking for reversals and trends, but I've kind of been more focused on reversals. So I'm still going to look at both of them, but I'm just going to be a bit more focused on trends and look at the market from that side, because I think that's a much easier way for you guys to get payouts. So let's just try that for a few days and see. And we'll be analyzing the market as we always do. The Dow, I mean, you had a really good pocket pullback there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Dow rip. We'll see what happens, but you've got a pattern there, right? And the support is right there at 42, 409-ish. So let's just see what happens. I guess that's the one we'll watch since it has the clear pattern. You can see we're kind of trending on the Dow, trying, heading into the release. This bar still has about 2,000 contracts left to trade. Non-farm is going to be nuts. We'll see, but Musk and Trump kind of repaired their bro relationship. So that's interesting. We've got a minute and 20 seconds to go. Not for the faint of heart. So, be careful. 30 seconds. I was going to say, where is everybody? But I'm early and there other people are at the BDH. If you don't have a name like the Big Dick House, what are you doing on YouTube? Oh my God. Okay, 15 seconds, guys. Let's see what happens. It's going to do what it's going to do. We're just going to ease into this. 5 seconds. There she is. Yeah, come in. It's no problem. You guys can get whatever you need. Yeah, no big deal. So there's that bullish pattern on the Dow. Not super surprising, right? Kind of pushing up here. See what the Nasdaq is doing. Also looking to push. ES pushing. So that was good. The initial read on the indices from the end of day was correct. Russell pushing. So the Dow was what kind of tipped us off there to the end of day analysis. Kind of trending here on the Dow. Not like a crazy trend, but you know, trying to get something going. So gold, not really too affected yet. But if the indices are going to rally, remember this is what I talked about in the end of day analysis. We could see gold, you know, really start to dump. Yeah, pretty tame. Pretty tame by non-farm payroll standards, that's for sure. But they were looking kind of bullish anyways. NQ's trying to push. So what's up, Adam? You guys do anything overnight? Hey, Zest, how you guys doing? Just kind of letting, you know, payrolls do its thing, and then we'll all get into it. So it's kind of interesting. You got NQ's trying to push, but you've also got gold not really doing a whole lot. Yesterday was a crazy day with the bro spat, that's for sure. All right, so I was telling everybody before we started, I just put trend trading in the title because I want the stream to be easy to follow. I think if the stream is complicated, it's going to be hard for non-VolPro edgers to follow, and I want it to be easier for non-VolPro edgers to follow as well. So I'm still going to, you know, call out reversals and things when we see them, and we'll analyze and all that. I know many of you are running your own systems anyways, so I'm just kind of trying to find what fits best on YouTube. So the next couple days, we're still going to follow all our markets, do our alerts, but I'm just going to be a little more focused on the trend side because in my opinion, if you haven't gotten payouts or you're looking for success, I think just trading with a market that's trending is going to be way easier than, you know, trying to pick off reversals. I like reversals. but it's definitely a more complicated way to trade, and I want to make the stream easy for people. So, you know, let's just try that. Still pretty much the same approach. I'm just kind of flipping it a little bit and turning my focus to trends, and reversals are over here instead of reversals and trends are over here. So I hope that makes sense. Still very new to the YouTube game. So let's just wait for our alerts. The Russell was the last one. There's a Dow alert. So, we're pushing on the indices. This is pretty much what we expected from the end of day analysis because the Dow tipped us off. So you guys, you remember the Nasdaq and ES weren't super clear, but the Dow had a beautiful pattern to buy. So that's, you know, definitely what tipped us off there. What's up, Jose? Good morning. JP, I forget. Jose or JP? I asked you yesterday. Maybe you answered it. Maybe I missed it. Adam working early morning. Nice. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens today. But with indices looking like they want to push, you know, gold should want to drop. So far, kind of being stubborn. So we'll just have to see about that. Looking at silver, we're consolidating. So I'm just going to look for some trends. You guys let me know if there's anything you see. If I see a really good reversal, I'll probably still take it. It's just I want to try to not confuse everybody. All right, so ES is not trending yet. Waiting for alerts. Nasdaq not trending yet. The Dow is trying to trend, but we're not really, you know, clear of all this yet. So I would still, even though we're trending here on the Dow, we're not really clear of all this yet. So I would still kind of consider this a big range. Now the Russell's trying to break out. You're technically trending on the Russell. So, and when we see a trend pattern we like, we're just going to wait for the lower time period to come back to congestion support like we talk about in that module. So we'll just be running that. And I think by focusing on this, I'll be able to dial into, you know, the lower time period when we're trending. Jose is fine. Okay, cool, Jose. So guys, Aaron is going on Top Step TV today at 1. So that'll be cool. We got to support him. 1 Eastern. So I plan on having the stream done by then. So we can all go support him in the chat. That'll be cool. So I'm kind of like, you know, looking for more of a 2 big pushes here. You probably have a lot of support down here on the Russell. I mean, gold's trying. Yeah, thanks, Adam. Yeah, the Dow was definitely well supported. We'll see if the markets give back these gains. Anything's possible, but there's a lot of support down here. The gold so far is just not giving way. Not yet, anyways. What was the print on the payrolls? So Nasdaq's trying to push. Hey, are you having a good day? I love you. We're having a much better day today, everybody. So that's nice. Did you go poo-poo? No. Okay, maybe later. Yeah, that's how it is with kids. 139. Okay, that's interesting. Pretty interesting. I know they said below 100 the market would tank because, you know, recession and blah blah blah. So, you know, it's probably a fake print anyways, but still the algos will take it and run with it. So a fake strong print, you know, gold could dump here because that fake strong print could be, hey, you know, rates are good right where they're at. There's not a lot of fear. So we'll see if gold can break out to the downside. get a trend run going.
I think that actually, why do you want where these were afternoon?
So silver's doing nothing. Copper, yeah, that was kind of what I expected in the analysis there for copper. Just not doing a whole lot. Yeah, you can have a great day. Can I have a little huggy? No, you have more time. You're not going right now.
We need to have breakfast, brush our hair, brush our teeth. And we have a movie time.
That sounds great. I love you. Oh man, it's so nice when she's in a good mood. So platinum, not doing a whole lot. Ultra bonds, that's kind of what I was talking about in the analysis. I just wasn't sure if we're going to pick up the true average and dump or push higher, but we're dumping. So this could be a good trend opportunity for ultra bonds. When they like to trend, they like to trend. I will look to trade my XFAs today, guys, if we see any good trends. So that's what I'm going to be focused on. It's really hard for me to multitask between live accounts, you know, prop accounts and all that. So I realized I got to kind of pick the account I want to trade and trade it. So today, if I see anything good, I'll trade XFAs. But obviously, I'm really selective with the XFAs. I kind of treat them like a live account sometimes. So there's ultra bonds. We're breaking through. So I mean, ultra bonds, I would say, is a good candidate for a trend trade because we're breaking through the daily here. Probably headed back down to the weekly lows, I would say, if not lower. So, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing if we can jump on board this trend. We're technically not trending yet, but we're breaking through some pretty good support there. So let's see what we get. I'm going to bring up ultra bonds here. You guys, when you trade on Top Step, you really got to watch. Sometimes the number of contracts will switch. Like, I don't know, mine switch a lot. So like if I'm not paying attention, I can go in with 5 contracts instead of 1. And obviously that never works in your favor. So let's see if bonds can, you know, get out into a little bit of a trend here. I think it will. Silver still congesting. So we'll just follow the alerts. So bonds, you can see here after that print, well, kind of trending down, heading into the print, and now just heading lower. So, you know, on the daily, you could be headed down here. A lot of resistance now into that, you know, all this broken stuff here. 116.6 and higher. So that would just be kind of right up in here. So keep an eye on bonds. Hey, are you hiding?
Yeah.
Wow. Probably you're invisible. Probably nobody can see you. Okay. Go watch your TV. Okay. Okay. Here's a 30-year. Not really trending yet, but trying. Yeah, crude, I said, you know, you had a lot of resistance here. So far, that's kind of holding, but, you know, the weekly wasn't really in line with that. So nat gas was pretty difficult to read. Anyways, we'll just follow it around. So indices continue to try to push here. Gold trying to break. If we can take out those lows from yesterday, kind of wouldn't be surprising to see gold maybe follow through down into this level here, but we'll just have to wait and see. So let's see. Adam, I think I'll try and play with 21,700 if we come back. But been my level the whole week. Nice. Yeah, well, you know, when you get in sync with a level, that can work out well, you know. So that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. So I think in terms of trends at this exact moment, ultra bonds are the ones I would be interested in. Like if we got some sort of a pullback up here, I could definitely be interested in shorting that coming out of all this for sure. So I'm going to just keep an eye on that until I get other, because I think this will, what I'm trying to do with the stream is just get a little bit more like coherence for everybody. So it's not, it's hard to follow if I'm flip, 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 flip. So now like, old, like for example, I thought of this yesterday because I was like, well, if I was new to VolPro Edge and I just came to this stream and I just saw like flipping around, I mean, for the average person, that's going to be pretty difficult to follow, right? It's like, well, what if I'm just trading easy trends, and once we dial in on a market that's trending, the trend playbook is probably the easiest playbook in VolPro Edge. So just use that, because like silver, pretty straightforward, at least, in London yesterday, lots and lots of volume. But when you start to get something like that, that's even that right there, that's a nice pullback right there. I mean, I think that's just easy. I want to try and keep it easy for everybody. Does that make sense? And if you guys see good reversals, tell me. And when I see good reversals, I'll tell you. And I'm probably still going to take some good reversals. I'm just going to try and focus more on the trends. Where's my coffee? Yeah, with some of these end of day trades, just, yeah, I mean, the Dow, pretty fantastic there on the daily. I just can't wait to have the algos, because that's going to be a game changer for me personally and for you guys, because it takes away the guess. Like if I'm bullish, I'll just, we'll chat while we wait for stuff to set up. These end of day, what's up, Gluey? How you doing, man? Guys, Gluey did a funny AI rendering of me smoking a cigar on the beach in Costa Rica. The face doesn't look like me too much, but the hat, the white shirt, and the cigar and the beach in Costa Rica looks pretty good. It's really funny. But the algos will be, okay, so here on the end of day, if I know I like that pocket and I know I like, this overall support level, the question is, where do you set your order, like, in terms of an end of day trade or a swing trade, right? Because you got a pretty big area where you could get in, and then does your stop go below, the VolPro reaction support, or do you want to go all the way back below that low? But then that's a big stop, right? So these are the nuances. Whereas with the algos, I can just program a zone and say, hey, that's my zone, which is coming across, right here. And, if I get a really nice, pocket or something in that zone and it's holding its own DMLs, then just buy it and, try and catch the daily move based on that type of algo. But then your stop is still pretty reasonable based on, that time frame instead of the daily, which is much wider. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Crude? Is Crude doing something, Zest? Are you long Crude? I mean, if we start really breaking through all this, but Crude looks pretty choppy to me right now on the daily here. See, because we've got a huge advantage too in trading trends, right? Because with VolPro Edge, we can see when we're breaking through critical levels. So it's not like, our trend trading is a lot different than other trend trading. Like here on Ultra Bonds, I mean, we can see we're absolutely smashing through some really, really key support levels here, right? And the weekly's bearish. So I want to try to jump on board this trend, right? I mean, here you had, see, we're not technically 3 bars yet closing below. But we're getting there. And here you had your congestion resistance level. I didn't take that because we're not technically trending yet, but these are the kind of ones we're looking for. Morning, Andreas. What's up, man? How you doing? I sent you a voice message, Andreas. I hope you're doing well. with your new residence and your wife and everything else. Got the coffee. So let's look at silver. I mean, silver, silver hasn't run for a long time. So is this going to be like a crazy two bar push? Are you going to see like that on silver? I mean, I know it seems crazy, but with silver, you could see that. So if we start to break out into a trend run here, that could be something we look for sure. Copper's not doing much. Platinum not doing much. Bonds, definitely want to try and get on board this trend because I think we could be headed a lot lower. That strong jobs print. Let's see what happens there. Kind of just letting the market digest this print. It's still pre-market. Yeah, gold trying to break, but it's just not really, happening yet. Still a lot of support here. So probably going to just be a choppy day on gold. Maybe it's one of these everything goes up days. Could be. Copper alert. So I would expect quite a lot of support down here on copper in this congestion range. So for copper lovers, you've got a lot of support here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this want to test back up toward the true average up here on the daily, up in here. EU, as in European Union. Sorry guys, my neck hurts. Kind of slow here so far. I said I expected the dollar to be weak. I wasn't really getting a pattern on FX, but it looked to me like they were going to continue heading in the direction they're heading. So that's what I said for the end of day analysis. So yeah, I said I expected, once the Dow tipped me off to strengthen the equities, then I said that I think the dollar, toward the end of the video, I think the dollar will be weak. And so weaker dollar would probably support, that's more risk on. So I said maybe equities will rally because of that Dow pattern, and maybe the industrial metals will rally. So the charts were kind of saying a stronger print, which is what ended up happening. So that's interesting. And that's why we could see a good dump in bonds today, because, if everybody's counting on a stronger economy on that print, which we all know is fake, but anyways, it's still the print, then money will flow into indices and maybe some industrial metals, and nobody's going to want to own bonds, so we can sell them, right? Sell them in pyramid. And I think gold will just probably be range bound. Is that on the euro, Adam? And guys, if you're joining late, Aaron the Commodities going on Top Step TV at 1 p.m. Eastern. So going to finish streaming before then. And we got to go over to the live chat and support him. And bomb the chat with VolPro Edge. We don't want to spam it, but it'd be fun to... It's kind of like it's the first time VolPro Edge goes out of its own little, community. So that'll be fun. All right, so gold doing nothing. ES, you're not trending. Nasdaq, you're not trending. The Dow, you're starting to try to trend, and I could definitely see the Dow heading up here because you've got the weekly DML, you've got that. So It's just that you haven't cleared all this yet. So this is kind of like a trend within the overall congestion zone. And Zest, crude just popped. Yeah. I guess on that stronger number, right? See if we can clear all these highs. So that's the Dow. And, you know, see if you get any decent pullbacks here. The daily range so far in the Dow, 350 to, 650, 300 points. Definitely has room to move more. So look for maybe some pullbacks to the congestion support level here on the 1,000 volume. So I got ultra bonds up on my other screen here, and they're trying to head down. So gold trying to drop. We'll see. See if gold can get into a little bit of a move down here. Silver kind of quiet. I mean, yeah, you had a little pop on the indices after the report. Platinum just on fire. I mean, could be headed 1,200 today. I mean, certainly could be. See if platinum can get into a run. Silver kind of the same. No, I don't use the settlement. Well, on TradingView, I don't really use TradingView that much. But with Sierra charts, I don't use the settlement price, Adam. I use the intraday, like the last traded price is what I use. I just like that better. So bonds, trying to dump. I mean, see if we get a good pullback to maybe short some bonds. That would be nice. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it can be kind of hard with bonds sometimes because they'll just go like straight down when they're going down or straight up. But you can get some decent little pullbacks. Like, I mean, we could be seeing the reversal in bonds here, kind of like we saw in silver. If we look here, probably this portion of the silver run from the other day in London, this could be what bonds are about to do, but to the downside. So if you look, because everything's fractal, so if you just go back to that period of time, go back to London here, you'll see when it was really goosing like this, that's when silver is just goosing, right? So you can kind of see that once the move gets going there out of like, pretty much as you get up here, you're starting to really go. You don't get much pullback. So it's you kind of just got to get in, or you wait for something like that. So bonds could do that today. That's why I'm bringing that up on silver, just to show you what could be happening on bonds to the downside with that trend. Right here. So that was one pullback there. Basically that true average, in a strong trend, that'll just drive the trend down. You can see heavy selling coming in here, smashing straight through that daily extension congestion support DML, heavy footprint. So what's up, David? Yeah, this Jonas is looking into it, so I'm gonna have discussions with him this weekend. How's the latency doing when you, because the day one it was better and now it's not great. I got your message, by the way, too, David, on the Spanish, so I'm going to catch up on that this weekend. I had a busy day yesterday registering Olivia at the civil registry. So here's gasoline, choppy, heating oil, choppy, crude, pretty choppy. So bonds is the trend. I really want to jump onto, but just kind of looking for a good spot. It's either jump in here and pray for surf or wait for some sort of a pullback. I'm going to wait, but I might not get it. I don't know. I must have slept funny on my neck. It kind of really hurts today. So yeah, I'm gonna go deep into that with Jonas this weekend, David. Bonds kind of sitting. So we got another alert for bonds. So you can see that was a lot of, that was 20,000 contracts, but not a lot of range there. So I'd be looking right up in here probably to get short that extension. If we got, you know, something like that, that could be a good spot to try and jump on the trend, because you're right at the middle of the envelope. You got the extension right there. So that's coming in right at the broken levels right there. So that'd be up into like, you know, 116.5, 116.6, which you'd have to kind of get a decent little pop on the lower time period. So I don't know if we're going to get that, but that's kind of the level I would like. Okay, thanks, David. Yeah, and how is the latency now when you know, have it, if you have your back testing charts shut down and you don't have like a crazy amount of charts open? Is it just when you get a crazy amount of charts open? Like the more information you guys can give me, then the more we can troubleshoot that. So Nasdaq just kind of sitting. Silver, I mean, gold's trying to drop. I would expect it to if indices, you know, keep pushing, but you know, if the other metals are going to rally, then that might hold gold up. We'll see. I need Tim, the massage therapist, here. I need a chiropractor as well. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really see okay. So 5 to 6 seconds. I mean, that's, and is it the same if you do volume or minute-based charts? We'll fix it. I don't know why it's doing that. I think it's the way Sierra's recalculating data unnecessarily. So there go bonds. Bonds are going. Not much going on. Probably a lot of support on copper, I would guess. All right, I'm just looking at your comments now, David. Okay, that's good. The amount of charts doesn't matter. Okay, you sent a video with a latency. Okay. Sure, I'll do that. Thanks, David. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Mm. It's just really weird that it was good for like a day, and then the latency it was good, and then it got worse. I don't know what to make of that. So there's the Russell. Gold. Let's see if Ultra Bonds can give us a push up here. We're now officially trending. So this is my market of choice right now, guys, for trends. I'm just checking in on the other stuff to kind of, make sure I don't miss anything over there. But I would like to get a short up here on my XFAs on Ultra Bonds if we get a push. So that's what I'm stocking. And of course, we'll get some more movement coming in at 9:30. We got the open, we got meats, we've got grains. There was some pretty good trend trades on the meats lately, that's for sure. Zest, what about you? Are you in on anything today? Kind of a quiet day for me. Kind of a quiet week, to be honest. Made a little bit, but, pay some grocery bills. Nothing to write home about, but it's always good to pay for food. Yeah, it's kind of quiet. I like the idea of shorting Ultra Bonds if we get going. What's up, Gluey? You know what? Yesterday was pretty good. We actually didn't have it was kind of the first day in a long time we didn't have any monsoons. So that was nice. Apparently, people who've lived here longer than us, they say that the rainy season doesn't start this intensely usually for a while. So this is kind of like an early, intense start to the rainy season. So that's interesting. I I'm not I'm not crying about it, but my neck it hurts. I don't know why. Oof. And I'm all out of Cubans, so I gotta go get some later. A Cuban a day keeps the doctor away. So the Dow trying to trend here. But you see, I like the Ultra Bonds looks much cleaner to me. Look, you've cleared a lot of stuff here, right? So that's why I would prefer shorting Ultra Bonds as opposed to the Dow. Although the Dow doesn't look bad. Does that make sense to you guys? Good news is with Top Step, my funded accounts, I can actually trade the Ultra Bonds, which is cool. So that's pretty fantastic. Morning, AJ. Nice, buddy. AJ Trades. I like it. It's got a nice rhyme to it. Think you should do it, man. You know, once you get a little more comfortable, a little settled. And David will be our Spanish speaking Robin Williams. Good morning, Vietnam. He's like, buenos días, saludos a todos. Me llamo David. Está aquí con VolPro Edge. Is that good, David? Oh, man. Gotta crack ourselves up. Get going to Mexico. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, it's because of my time in LA, huh? Okay, let's try the Spanish accent. Hola, buenos días. Soy David y bienvenidos. Is that better? Good. So we've got the lower time period here, trying to push a little. We know we like that area maybe up there to get short, but we may not get there. This might be all she wrote, but I can't really chase it down here. I just heard a noise. Sounded like a door opening. Either that or I'm hearing things. I'm glad that was better, David. So yeah, nice little pullback in the trend run here. If we got that, because we got all the reasons in the world to try to jump on this trend with what we're seeing here on the daily, the weekly. So if I try to jump on this trend and it was a loss, I would be okay with it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. What's your accent, AJ, like mine, if you're in California? Although I don't really have that much of a California dialect. My dialect's all screwed up from living in so many different places. Did I tell you guys once there was a guy in Sweden? It was a long time ago. I was partying at a nightclub. It was like, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Everybody's out on the street, drunk. And this Swedish guy, he wanted to beat me up because he was like, I was speaking Swedish with some people all night, and they asked where I was from. I said Los Angeles, and the Swedish guy was like, "You're lying. You're not from LA. You don't even sound like it." And he really wanted to kick my butt. So I called my mom from my cell phone on the street. I was like, "Look, this is my mom. She's in LA right now," because the time difference, it wasn't a bad hour for her. My mom's talking to the drunk guy, and he's like, "Is your son from LA?" And my mom's like, "Yes." That was hysterical. The drunk guy didn't know what to do when I called my mom. Yeah, Swedes are funny. Swedes are nice people. Is he like a Swede, Alex? Like from Sweden, and like he sounds like a Swede when he talks English? Because Swedes have a very distinct accent when they speak English. Say, yes, my name is Johan. I am from Sweden. That's how they sound. I know because that is how my wife sounds. But my wife's isn't that strong. I am determined to have a wonderful afternoon and a wonderful weekend and escape the stress of this week with my child. And it would be nice to get short some ultra bonds and make some cash. Some cash money in the XFAs. Oh yeah, the Swedes are in good shape, man. When you go to Sweden, those people are, as a collective, they're very good looking and very in shape. and mostly very tall. Not everybody, but a lot of them. Meanwhile, we're not getting any alerts. Platinum doing nothing. Nat gas, nada. Gold, I'm guessing nada. Yeah. So pretty much the only trends we're eyeing right now are ultra bonds, which I'm liking a lot. My favorite. Top easy trend pick of the day. Easy. Trading is never easy. Let's see when, because one thing I noticed, which is pretty cool, you see how silver just kind of trended into the close here, right here. This is from yesterday afternoon. So you see how on the lower time, on the intraday volume chart, you're getting into a trend, and then it just opens and picks up, you know, the true average area on the daily and just continues that nice little trend run. So that's nice. Silver and gold love to move Asia and London. So the Dow is trending. Those of you who want to trade the Dow. But we're getting into some resistance now. Right up here on the daily. So probably not a good place to jump on board the trend because you've already made the daily range. Kind of want to jump on in the meat section. Russell, NQ, gold, silver. I mean, silver could start to rip. Yeah, in a strong trend, the true average is what'll push. For sure, like on silver here. I mean, even here you didn't really get anything, but there you kind of got it. There you pull back to the middle, you see. So, yeah. On ultra bonds right now, David, you see the true average pushed, that first little push from there. But I kind of, the best risk to reward on a trend is if you can get a pullback to the middle of the envelope, especially if you got the extension DML and the trend DML stacked at the middle of the envelope. You know, in this case, you've got that on ultra bonds and you've got all that broken daily support that should be resistance now. So that would be nice if it punched up there. It may not. I mean, we'll see the lower time period here. That might be the congestion resistance level right at the VolPro reaction resistance there. I'm kind of waiting for up here. So we'll still take really good reversals also. I'm just trying to focus on what I think is easiest for everybody, which trending when the market's just heading one direction. I mean, it's pretty easy to spot, right? And then you just got to try and pick a spot to get in. So let's see, you can see this is feeder cattle. Like you're starting the day in a trend run, right? Look, you broke all that. Kind of ripping here on feeder cattle. So I would expect a lot of support at the open into 308. True average on the daily. So you could see like one of these tags it and then closes back and goes like that. Hogs not trending. Cattle. Let's go to hogs here. There's hogs. So cattle is trending just like feeder cattle. I mean, just unstoppable right now. True average way back here at 215, which is your old. I mean, there's a lot of support there at 215. Soybean oil, choppy. Meal, kind of choppy. Well, meal's trending down. Oil's choppy. Meal hasn't cleared any of this. Soybeans are choppy. Wheat's choppy. Corn is choppy. Nat gas, choppy. The energies are choppy. So the best trend I can find right now is in the treasuries. So let's see if we get an opportunity to get short. Short some US government debt. Does that make sense, David? So we're waiting for the market to open here in 9 minutes. Sure thing, buddy. And I'm just going to refill my coffee while we wait for it to open. I'll be right back. Looking to get short up there, 116.5, 116.6. I'd probably risk a few $100 on my XFAs. See if I can't catch a trend and hold and add and have a decent day on my XFAs. That wouldn't be bad. All right. So let's see here. We're back. Payrolls rise by 139, beating estimates, but report shows sweeping labor market weakness. So the headline print was strong, but everything else was weak. Ugh. Okay, cool, Gluey. Yeah, you got to sleep, my friend. Hope you get some sleep, bro. Happy Friday. So there's the close right there. It's a little bit of a pullback, but I'm not going to short that because you're going against that. That's more of like a reversal signal, right? So the more you understand reversals, it'll also help you understand, trends, right? So this very well may go down, but it's not really enough of a reversal. Sorry, a trend pullback for me. Have a good weekend, Gluey. So I'll just stay patient there. Give me a sec. The market's going to open in a few minutes. All right, guys, I hear lots of alerts pinging us. Let's catch up on everything. So bonds, still kind of waiting. I'm definitely very interested in up here somewhere. Indices continue to push. But, you know, most of that move was just right on non-farm payrolls, so kind of maybe tough to get in. I mean, Nasdaq could be setting up for some trend trading. I mean, trending down here. Now we could be, you know, depending on where this closes here, you could be trending back up to these highs. So we'll see about that. But like I said, you know, these trends inside this little range here is just, let's look at the Dow pushing. The Russell. Gold doing nothing. Silver. Copper, nice little push. Five-year-old's having a meltdown. It's been a interesting parenting week, you guys. You know, so those of you who are parents, sometimes you just get those weeks where the kids are driving you nuts. I'm nervous she's going to scare the nanny away. Then I'm really going to be screwed, you know? All right, there's copper. Platinum. Can you guys hear my kid having a meltdown 30 yards away through multiple closed doors? Here's the 30-year. It's tough to concentrate. I'm probably going to have to get an office, to be honest, because even though my kid's at school all day, the hour or so she's here pretty much destroys the entire day. Like, just doesn't get the day out. You know, you want kind of like kumbaya. You're trading, you're feeling good. You don't want to hear a tormented 5-year-old in the background. It's just not nice. When it's another kid, it's not as bothersome, but when it's your kid, it's kind of bothersome. All right, so the energies look like they're trying to break out. So crude could be setting up for a decent trend run here, clearing all these highs. I mean, that's what Zest was talking about. I'm going to take it easy on the trading today because I feel very, very off center with what my child is putting the family through right now. So, and that's good to know, you guys. It's a good lesson when something in your life on a particular day or week is not making you feel centered. You know, don't trade because your results will be worse. And people are like, oh, just block it out. Well, unfortunately, we're not robots, right? We're human beings. So there's crude. Heating oil. Gasoline. Nat gas. Corn. Everything else is ripping, so I would kind of expect the Nasdaq to catch up here. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to push at him. Here goes my beloved feeder cattle. Back to the good support level here. Yeah, NQ, I mean, Dow's ripping. I'm gonna have to do an emergency chiropractor today. I think it's, the kid, all the stress. It's like just kind of gets into your system. Platinum, ultra bonds. Yeah, it's kind of looking like it, Adam. That's for sure. So ultra bonds trying to leak out of that pullback. 30-year crude, heating oil. I mean, crude certainly looks like it wants to squeeze. I'm just trying to get my bearings here, guys. I'm feeling extremely distracted. It's just been one of those weeks with the kid where it's been a pretty awful steady. She got a little better and then she's just awful. Kind of wears you down. Silver, copper, platinum. And whenever I feel I don't feel good, then I just don't want to take risks. Because like if I take risk and I lose, and I know I shouldn't have traded because I wasn't mentally there, then I can get pretty pissed off because I'm already pissed off now at my kid. And then if I start trading and losing, I'll get really pissed off. So that's why I'm probably gonna not pull the trigger. So it's like there's going to be quite a lot of squeezes today. So let's work backwards. So here's feeder cattle coming all that support there, but I'm kind of just looking for trend squeezes. I don't really want to trade feeder cattle to the downside. Hogs, definitely squeezing. Could have some serious room to go in hogs. So, and following all these markets, I'm going to have to wait for a higher time period pullback like I do. I can't be getting caught up in all the lower time periods. So hogs, I would be interested, if this pulled back down to here like that, if it tried to enter congestion or something, I think that's a pretty good spot to go like that for hogs. So I could be interested there at the 105 level ish for hogs. Here is live cattle. Not really, I mean, could be trending down now off of this pop, but that market's so strong. I'll leave that alone. Soybean oil, I mean, this looks like a pretty good trend run potentially because you're clearing through all this. So if soybean, that there, That was like London, but that's not a bad little pullback. Soybean meal. See, what I'm doing is I'm debating based on what I think the daily and the weekly are doing. Soybeans, chop. Wheat, chop. Corn. Corn's been kind of weak all week. So if you got a pop up here, I mean, we're kind of trending here on corn. So, you know, if you got a little bit of a pop, could maybe entertain a short on corn, but we'll see. Nat gas is chop. Gasoline is trending nicely. So I think if gasoline pulls back, we may try to buy it. Heating oil, that's a pretty good flash right there, but you know, I wouldn't take it against that strength because especially here you have this pocket failing right here. So let's wait on heating oil. Crude, if we get a pullback on crude, it could be nice. So let's just follow the playbook. I'm feeling more centered now. My child is about to exit the building, which would be nice. So something like that on crude could be nice. I know we've made a bit of a daily range here already, so that's something we've got to be aware of for sure. But on these squeeze days, you know, you can see we do get much bigger ranges. So if you get a big enough pullback, you know, and it looks good, it could be worth it. Does that make sense to you guys? 30-year, you know, that the ultra bonds, I gave my reasons why I didn't like that, but you know, we'll see. You may get, if you get a little counter trend move like that, it could be a good spot to get short. So I'm going to be I'm not going to be, you know, okay, it has to be trending, you know, lower highs, lower lows. I'm going to be more like, am I with the daily energy? And even if it pulls back a little more. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. So we got an alert there on soybean oil, hogs. See if hogs can. You got a bullish pattern there on hogs for the day, but like the gap open. So if hogs pulls down, this is the kind of thing where even if it pulled all the way back down to the true average like that, if we were holding some extensions and stuff, I'd probably have to buy hogs because that strong daily pattern, you know, I would count on, you know, that type of situation, right? So let's see what hogs want to do. And we'll get back to platinum, still kind of hanging out, copper, silver, gold, chop, Russell, I mean, Dow, huge move here on the Dow. Are we going for that weekly extension? Are we going to squeeze? Are we going to put on a 42.4 to, are we going to put on 1,000-point day in the Dow? I mean, I don't know. Could be a squeeze day here. I think at this stage on the Dow, if we were to get a pullback like that, we'd have to consider it, even though we've already put in well over the daily range, but it looks like a squeeze day potentially. Nasdaq, kind of the same. What's up, Gluey? Squeeze day is when, you know, there's a lot of shorts off sides from yesterday. And now that we push higher, you're squeezing them. They're feeling pain. They have to cover. They got to get out of their shorts. They got to buy them back. So when they buy back the shorts, this is when you see these kind of markets just rip. And they're beautiful to watch. They're kind of hard to trade because you just got to get in and pray because there's really no pullback. So if you look at ES right here, I mean, just the high, see it opens and then just straight up. The high, close on the high, opens, like no, it's just straight up. So I don't think that that's easy to trade. So unless you just take a chance and you just get in, but that's just not how I like to do it. So the Dow, I'd wait for a pullback, you know, especially you can see what I'm looking for on these trends is there's the broken key daily level. So if the Dow gave a pullback like that, I could be interested in buying it like that. So let's just see. Russell's kind of chopping. Gold, I mean, not a whole lot here. Silver, copper, platinum, ultra bonds, still kind of just waiting. 30-year. So I don't think, you know, here's crude. So we'll see if crude gives some kind of a decent pullback. But I think this week, I don't know, has been tricky for execution. Maybe it's just me. I'm not sure. It's been an off week for me just with the family and all that stuff. So that could definitely be contributing to it. But you guys let me know how you're doing this week. Does it feel like a little bit of a tough execution week? I mean, the analysis has been really good, which is nice. Stay on the right side. Don't make a lot of mistakes. But in terms of like capitalizing, hasn't been a huge week for me. What about for you guys? How are you guys doing? Let me get some water while you let me know how you're doing. So there is an alert on platinum and an alert on gold. So we'll just keep waiting. Here's the Dow. Here's crude. So with trending, I'm just looking for strong markets that I think on the higher time period, like this on crude, for example, you know, I'm just looking for what I think would be a strong congestion support level, right, to get it pushed back up. Yeah, well, thanks for being honest, AJ. Yeah, I haven't really. I would have liked to capitalize more this week. I'm not having a bad week. I'm making money, but it's still, I'm seeing a lot of things and it's doing what I thought it was going to do, but just execution has not been, I don't know if it's not been easy or like I said, I've been distracted with my family. It's probably that. I mean, usually it's that kind of stuff. Let's look at ES. Nice little flash there, but I wouldn't take that. I would just hope that if that could knock us down and give us a pullback, you know. I think what's weird about this day, guys, because I was like, this just looks weird. Like we've done a huge move, like we've done the daily range. Now I see this is what's weird. Maybe it's because we're in the process of shifting volume. You know, we're rolling over. Next week will be the big rollover week. But look at the daily volume here on ES, guys. I know we're like, you know, 10 a.m. Eastern, but still. So look, you've done this massive range on 300,000 contracts. I think maybe that's what's off to me right now. Does that feel off to you guys as well? Same thing on the Nasdaq. Not a lot of volume and just pretty good range so far. But, you know, we may get a pullback. And I'm waiting for higher time period pullbacks. I'm not going to mess with the lower time period right now. I mean, I'll look at it, you know, when we want to get in. But so let's look at hogs because, you know, pushing. So Gluey, I found it tough. A lot of BE and take some wins, but it's been hard. Yeah, I think it's not been a easy week. Zest, what about for you? Feeling similar or how are you feeling? Let's look at feeder cattle. So there's that support level there on feeder cattle. But, you know, we'll wait and see. I'm not really interested in buying that right there. So ES, and because we're already at the top of the daily range now, right? So here's the Dow. I think, you know, a steep enough pullback would be nice for a buy. I would have to do that probably on my XFA, I think, on the Dow, because yeah, we put in the daily range more than that, but you know, I don't see this thing reversing like a huge reversal like we saw yesterday. I'm not seeing that. So I could try to jump on board the Dow if we pull back to the daily envelope top, all that kind of stuff right in here. So we get cattle. Soybean meal. The Russell. Yes. And Q Dow. Just keep an eye on this. I'm going to refill my water, guys. Just give me 1 sec. Any chats, questions, whatever, ask, comments, any chats, any questions, comments, all that. All right. Just waiting for a pullback here, guys. I guess Tesla is crashing. Is Tesla still crashing? I haven't looked at it. I don't have any Tesla. My parents love Tesla. They love their Tesla. They love Elon or Elon. They have Tesla stock. It's kind of like a religion, the Tesla religion. Um, People who love it, they really, really love it. And people who, I don't know, I'm just like, it's a car. I mean, it's cool. It's fast. It's electric. That's neat. All right. So let's look at, we got corn. Gasoline. Hogs. I mean, hogs are trending nicely. So a pullback, I would expect the congestion support level to be strong here somewhere. So I guess that's where, like, even if I'm gonna, if this is like enters congestion and it's technically a congestion trade, I'll still take it because it's kind of in line with the trend, right? Something like that. And so let's see, just catching up on you guys here. So AJ, hate AI. Let's go back to the days of, I know, no more algos. Yeah, I mean, I think at some point you're probably gonna have like, well, no. I was gonna say maybe you'd have like eventually exchanges that you weren't even allowed to use algos on, but I mean, I don't think that's gonna happen because the people who make all the money, they are the ones running the algos, so they want to keep the exchanges exactly the way they are, right? So I think algos are here to stay. But I agree with you. In a perfect world, I would like them to go away as well. Um, Adam NQ giving you just a little back now, sitting on my hands. Yeah, me too. Christian, what's up? Filling the gap downward on Tesla. Okay, yeah, Tesla's not looking good at the moment. Um, yeah, that's pretty overvalued, I think, as well with Tesla. The house always wins. Yep, I'm happy to be a part of the house. Hey, what's up, Jacob? Yeah, I'm focusing on trends today. I'm trying to keep it more simple for everybody to follow. So, um, not that I'm going to take reversals when I see them, but I'm just trying to keep it more simple here. So, which market are you talking about, Jacob? Are you talking about NQ here? I mean, or you tell me what you're thinking about reversal wise. I'm still on the Dow. Yeah, I mean, the reason I wouldn't entertain a reversal on the Dow here is because this bullish pocket pattern on the daily, we're firing up and out of that. We cleared all this, you know, we're clearing this. I'd be more interested in buying this on a pullback instead of shorting the reversal. Not that it won't reverse a little bit, but it looks like a pretty damn strong trend run to the upside. And for me, if I'm going to take a reversal, I would want to wait until it entered congestion. But in this case, if this enters congestion like that, I would like to view that as a potential trend pullback like that. I know we've done a lot of range already on the day, but we still haven't put in a lot of volume, which tells me there could be more squeeze to go. So I hope that helps. Ultra bonds, definitely interested in shorting up here into this broken support that's now resistance. Yeah, exactly. Because you want to take a big part of the, you want to take reversals into key daily or weekly levels. And right now the Dow has just cleared all that. So, so crude was looking strong. It's kind of the same for crude, right? You see, we're clearing all this. So even though we've done a lot of range, we still haven't done a lot of volume. And if crude pulls back, I mean, this may be all we get. I mean, we could be headed up here on crude. So is that a pullback on crude? Maybe. I mean, is that going to be all we get on crude? Perhaps. It's kind of scary to buy up here with, with that range. I would kind of like to have the pullback be steeper on crude. But I was explaining before you got here today, Jacob, that, the yesterday's price action. So there's the pullback on crude. I'm not going to take that because I think you could see it's not really, I would want it maybe further back down here somewhere. It may just push up from here, guys, but that's just my sense of it. So, what I was saying, Jacob, before you got here was that this has just been, yesterday was a wacky day, and then today, you know, the indices like the Dow, for example, well, I mean, ES especially. I mean, look at you're trending nicely, but I mean, you don't have a lot of bars to work with. There's not a lot of volume, so it's just you kind of just did the whole daily range on very small volume, which is kind of strange. Yeah, that kind of seems like it. That volume yesterday, that's why this short squeeze I think is going to continue to the upside. So I'm looking to try and jump on board a pullback here on something. You know, if ES pulls back, we'll see. NQ certainly if it pulls back, especially like NQ, I think you could push back up to these highs. It's kind of the laggard right now. So if you got to pull back to the middle of the envelope here on NQ like that, you know, that would be, I think, a fantastic pullback buy because it's also one of the only ones, you know, that maybe has more room to go like this. Potentially, you never know, but it looks like the shorts are trapped. So let's see, there's the Dow. There's the Russell. Gold. It's not really a big range. I mean, could head down here like we've been talking about, but I mean, bonds, let's see, silver still kind of hanging out. Copper, platinum, ultra bonds. I was stalking this earlier, Jacob, pre-market, the ultra bonds, because we'd broken through some really good daily levels here. And that was a pullback there, but you know, I kind of wanted a steeper pullback, like something up into here would have been a much easier short for me to want to take, because then you can kind of hide behind all that. But that was kind of all she gave right there. But that's still on ultra bonds, you know, that's 31 to 26. It's still only 5 ticks, but we may still head lower. 30 years heading lower. Crude. So there's a little bit of a pullback on heating oil. I mean, that's not terrible. We haven't done a huge range yet on heating oil. Nice little flash there on the lower time period. Could be a buy there on heating oil. I'm not going to take it because I've got my Top Step XFAs open today, and heating oil's not, I mean, it's not a bad little pullback there, but it's not good enough. I would take heating oil on my XFA, but anything I take on my XFA, you know, I want it to look like there's just no doubts. Yesterday's daily close. Yeah, exactly. Now that was a, you know, just a weird emotional day yesterday, Jacob, with that whole, the reason for that sell-off was Trump is arguing with Musk, or Musk is arguing with Trump, or whatever. So yeah, no, that's why I said yesterday in the analysis, right? Did you watch that video from last night, Jacob? I said when I was talking about ES and NQ, I said, ah, gosh, that I don't really know what to make of that. But then when I looked at the Dow had a great pullback pattern. I said, well, the Dow looks bullish, Russell looks bullish, so probably ES and NQ are going to be bullish. So that was kind of why I was leaning bullish. Even though you broke all those DMLs, that was just an emotional, you know, exhaust to the downside. Is what it looks like to me. But no, definitely not easy to read. And especially on NQ, you've got a double pocket here and here. But the Dow is what tipped us off, because the Dow, oops, hit my mic, was nice and clean. Boom. So that was the clean one right there. Had it not been for non-farm payrolls, that would have been an end of day buy. But I just don't buy anything overnight the day before non-farm payrolls. Today it would have worked nicely, but that's the way I do it. So, I mean, the Dow, I would expect this squeeze in the Dow, if we get a little pullback to a congestion support level somewhere, I would expect that congestion level to be strong, and that could be where I'm looking to buy. Yeah, I mean, well, on Nasdaq and ES, it did matter to me that we broke all that. Yeah, no, it did. But it was the Dow that held its. You see the Dow, I mean, very close there, but basically pretty much, if you look at that, I mean, you're right there. So, and you're sucking up here. So the Dow was looking good, which is what then made me look back at the Nasdaq and the ES and say, okay, I think they'll probably head up, even though all those DMLs got broken. So that's kind of how I was looking at it. Here's hogs. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you can go through periods where they, for days, will, move inversely, but generally speaking, like they're highly correlated, especially right now on a daily basis. Maybe not on the intraday basis, you can get some differences, but on a day-to-day basis right now, they're heavily correlated. So, the Dow looking bullish was a pretty, clear tip off. You didn't want to be getting sucked into shorting the indices, even though they had a big close to the downside. Yeah, that's more intraday though. They typically tend to balance out. So here's ES, NQ. Looking pretty darn bullish overall. Just doing some stuff while we wait, guys. Just keep a little eye on Nasdaq here. Kind of a pullback right there to that congestion support level. Huh. That's a cool dream. Nice. That'd be awesome. One day, one day. Those are good dreams. I hate to wake up from those types of dreams, you know? So it'll be interesting here to see if the, the Nasdaq, you're trending up, but I don't know, it's kind of, you're at the true average here. You pulled back to this congestion support level. I don't know if that's going to hold or not. It's tough when these markets are just, doing this where it's just kind of pushing and you don't really know where to get back in. Usually some liquidity comes in at 10:15. Dow's kind of hanging out. ES, NQ. What's strange is that NQ hasn't really, Dow and ES have put in much bigger ranges as compared to NQ. So you'd kind of expect NQ to try to catch up a little bit, unless Dow and ES were going to dump, which they could, but, Yeah, that's not easy, Gluey. I mean, I would say more just you kind of don't want to get in typically if you've already done like a huge part of the daily range, the average daily range. But it's tough to say, right? Because on a day like today, which is a squeeze day, we could still head higher. So yeah, no, it's not. It's kind of something that just comes with time and experience. I know what you mean, though. It's not easy. So some liquidity coming in there at 10:15. That usually happens. For whatever reason, right at 10:15. So ES just kind of consolidating here. Still looks pretty bullish. I mean, it's obviously, I wouldn't buy this right now. We're pressing against that daily key resistance level. But it looks like, there's probably some shorts even still trapped from yesterday. They just thought everything was going to keep going down, What's up, Labino? Good to see you, man. $1,500 combine, sweet. Pump for you, buddy. Yeah. Walk away, right? That's a good way to finish the day. So Dow, Russell, NQ. That's right. It's the only way to move forward, my friend. You got it. Glad you got that trade, bro. Good job. So Nasdaq just kind of hanging out here. You'd kind of expect it to want to revisit the highs, maybe. Yeah, non-farm payrolls, they can sometimes be kind of, you know, jolty, but today wasn't. The markets just kind of went up and then just stayed. There's ES. So ES is put in a much bigger range than the Nasdaq. So is the Dow. Oh, that's awesome, Jacob. Happy to hear it, man. Yeah, patience and discipline are everything. It takes time, to develop that. definitely. I mean, I was talking about to the group earlier, like I've made some money this week, so it hasn't been like a bad week, but execution wise, I've found it to be kind of a difficult week just with the way the markets have been moving. And sometimes that just happens, you know, not a lot we can do about that. Right now, we just get a lot of chopped it up. Yeah, that's tough, Jacob. That impulsiveness, losing begets more losing. That just kind of takes time, you know? It's hard to get over. It takes a lot of time. And that's why I do think, you know, generally speaking, day trading is one of the hardest things you can do because it's the most likely to wrap people into the impulsiveness, right? So it's not that the charts can't be read. I mean, especially with VolPro Edge, right? We can read the charts, but that psychological, emotional discipline side is always the hardest part. So yeah, we've got our buddy Aaron the Commodity going on Top Step TV in about 2 hours and 40 minutes. So I'm going to be done with the stream well ahead of that time because I want to catch him and support him, and I want you guys to do that as well. Comment in the chat on the Top Step TV chat. Be cool. Just kind of chopping around here. Here's ES, very quiet. I have a feeling could be one of these quiet days where you had a big move on low volume and now it just kind of sits. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing a whole heck of a lot. At least in the indices, right? Wow, gold flushed. I was kind of thinking like when gold was sitting here for a while, that's why I said last night in the analysis, I said, yeah, I mean, I don't really trust this support level on gold because of what we were seeing in the Dow and then by extension, the indices. If they were going to be bullish, then gold should dump a little bit, right? So gold, I mean, if you get good pullbacks on gold, you know, up in here, could be good shorts. We'll see. The Monday, yeah, exactly. This one right here, Zest, yeah. I think that's one reason, you know, these markets have been harder to trade pretty much for the last, you know, 2 months. All of April, all of May, and now start of June is because, you know, we had those huge quick corrections on the indices, you know, like 35 or 25%, and then the rebound and then it's just been, you know, yeah, gold daily looks like it could flush, that's for sure. So it's been, you know, challenging. Yeah, I thought it was looking pretty darn weak in here. That's when I posted in the chat. I said, hey, gold looks pretty weak right in here, maybe in here somewhere. But then, yeah, once that flushed and it held that extension, you know, I wasn't here, but that's when it started to kind of reverse. But today looks much weaker, especially if you take out that these two daily extensions. I mean, could see a pretty good drop on gold. So if we get a trend run to the downside, you know, it could be some good shorts on gold. I don't think there's anything else news-wise, right? Let's go ahead and just check. Not really. So if gold gives us a nice pullback in the trend, it could be good for a short. Nasdaq. So ES just kind of, I mean, big trend, but just consolidating. And like I said, you know, unless you were in on that from down here, it was kind of tough to get in on because that was non-farm payrolls and then just kind of pushed a little higher there. The Dow's holding on. Nasdaq, kind of the laggard. I mean, I guess maybe that's Tesla, Musk, all that. I mean, we'll see. So far, this congestion level has been holding for a while at the true average, but I don't know. Nasdaq, kind of the underperformer so far today. But it seems like with gold dumping, you know, that payroll print, it looks like I mean, I would be surprised to see a reversal today like you saw yesterday in the indices. It kind of feels like they're going to want to close up near their highs today because of all those shorts who were trapped from yesterday. That's kind of what I would be thinking. So Jacob, one thing that throws me off, consider a reversal long if the prior day close has plowed through the DMLs. Yeah, that's like personal preference, right? That's not easy. Sometimes those can be fantastic, but sometimes it can be more risky because, you know, if you've already plowed through a DML, right, then you don't have anything to lean against, right? So Adam, Andy, do you know if you can have any accounts on standby? Yeah, definitely. Now you can have accounts on standby for sure. I think what they don't want you doing is signing up for more than 10 accounts in a month, but I guess the new dashboard stops people from doing that. But people outside the United States, I don't think have the new dashboard yet. So you got to kind of keep track of it yourself. So yeah, kind of painfully quiet here, huh? Don't really know what's going on. It's like the Cat Stevens song, something's going on. I think it's Father and Son. He says that. It's a good song. I mean, look at ES. So let's just take a quick look here. Feeder cattle, you got a little bit of a resistance pattern here. Sorry, reversal resistance, reversal pattern off the true average. I'm not going to take that here, but for those of you feeder cattle aficionados, here's hogs, live cattle. So soybean oil is kind of reversing pretty good. Meal, soybeans, pretty choppy. Wheat, choppy. Corn, pretty choppy. Wouldn't be surprised to see resistance here on corn, but you broke through all that. So I mean, one way that I like, because that's the thing I've been going through is like, how do I teach VolPro Edge the best, and how do I make it, you know, so many people are using it now in their own different way and doing great, and that's awesome. But I'm like, how do I make it the most, you know, accessible? That's what I'm trying to, I mean, the way typically that I like to do it myself is I just, I don't marry myself to specific things like, oh, I'm not like, oh, I'm only a trend trader, I'm only a reversal. I just scan and look and okay, that's a really good pattern. Does that make sense? Oh yeah, that makes sense with congestion in that moment. Okay. But that's more of like a very advanced level of doing it because, you know, you really got to speak the language. So yeah, Adam, NQ super tight right now. I mean, just it's like you get some volatility, we're moving, and then the market's just dead. Like this has just been, I don't know. We're rolling over next week, so what's up, Ralph? Heh. Wow. Well, don't trade drugged, Ralph. Don't do anything stupid. It's not going to be a long stream today, anyways, because Aaron is going on. Aaron the Commodities going on Top Step TV at 1 p.m. Eastern in about 2.5 hours. So I want to be well prepared for that. All right. So here's probably Musk and Trump, you know, tweeting again. Things are going on. Look at that. And then just, it's like no liquidity. And then you just like, boom. It's just incredible. It's so strange. Anyways, this could be the pullback on NQ for sure. Right here, unless we're going to see another wacky day. I'm kind of just not feeling it today. I don't know what else to say. It's just kind of a strange, I don't feel like I want to take any risk today on my XFAs. So there you have a pullback. That could be a good support level there. It's just strange, you know? It's like I can't there's kind of no rhyme or reason right now for everything. Just checking some admin stuff while we wait. So Adam, you would love 21.7. Yeah, this should be a lot of support down there, you know? Yes, I mean maybe those are the highs of the days running into all this right here. Maybe we're going to see another really weird day, like straight up, straight back down, straight back up. All I can say is something feels off, you guys. So I'm probably not going to take any risk today because the market just looks and feels weird to me. And it's rollover week, basically now into the end of next week. So the volume is going to be split between the June contract and the September contract. So it's generally not a good time to be screwing around. So just, you know, keep that in mind. It's kind of important. So I'll kick around with you guys just for a little bit, but then I'm probably just going to relax and enjoy my Friday a little bit before Aaron goes on Top Step TV, and we can all hang out on in the chat on Top Step TV and support Aaron in a couple hours, which would be cool. Yeah, well, it hasn't. I think that's what we're seeing. A lot of this weirdness is because of rollover, certainly, but it just feels even more pronounced right now. But yeah, Adam, I would say that's rollover, you know, that's just what's going on. No, still most of the volume is in June, but you know, there's more volume coming in now to September. We can check bar chart in a second, but that's kind of what it's looking like. I can check real quick. So if you just go to barchart.com, that's where I like to check it. I just think it's easier than checking, you know, let's say the CME, for example, and just go to indices. And then on indices, so you just go barchart.com/futures/indices. And then like, so right now on NQ, we can see that there's still not a lot of volume in September, actually. So it's starting to roll, but it's still, most of the volume is still in, I mean, almost all of it's still in June, but it's still, I don't know, it's a little funky monkey. The Dow, gold, silver. Kappa. You just had these really big moves this week. Platinum, ultras. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I can tell you guys that much. Just this week with my child, you know, the adjustment week with the nanny and the new person that's driving her to school and all that kind of stuff, and her stomach problems. So I'm kind of hoping we can get that stuff under control this weekend so I can just relax a little bit and come back Monday refreshed, because she's kind of just been exhausting me this week. So ultra bonds, getting a little bit of a pullback here on ultra bonds. That's kind of the level I like. So I could potentially be interested in shorting that on my XFAs. That would be one maybe I would consider, you know, depending. Still got some volume left to trade there on ultra bonds, but we'll keep an eye on that. I think you're going to see a lot of this weird, choppy, herky jerky action on NQ today. Choppy doppy herky jerky. Kind of like that. That's not a bad little pullback in the trend right there. I think on a different day where I was, you know, maybe feeling more in tune with the market, I wouldn't have minded it. But I'm just not. I'm not. You know, some days you feel it. Some days it's not often I'm not feeling it. Today's just one of those days. I'm kind of, the whole week I'm a little off. I'm just, you know, I'm just not feeling like I want to take a whole lot of risk. You know, just got a cheeky 1K on crude. Nice, Gluey. Meanwhile, Gluey's crushing it. Love it. Good job, bro. Nasdaq's trying to stay in the range. Because here, you know, you pulled back to these extensions. You got the extension here. Not bad. All right, now you'll dream better, Gluey, with that crude win. Sleep well, bro. How about you guys? You ever feel that way where, you know, some days and weeks you kind of just feel like you're in the mood. You feel locked in, you feel ready to take risk. And I think that's an important thing to recognize as a trader. Like when you feel good and you're trading well, take more risk. When you're not feeling good, you're feeling worn down or whatever the case may be, like I am for my daughter this week and the newborn baby. It's just a good time to, you know, relax a little, not take too much risk. That's important. So here we have ES, Dow, Russell, pretty choppy. Huh. Night again, Gluey. So bonds, just kind of watching Nasdaq while I wait for bonds to close and potentially set up a short. We'll just have to see. So I may trade bonds on my XFAs. We'll have to see. Get some water. See what bonds are doing on the XFAs. UB. It's already coming down out of there. That would have been a good little spot for the XFAs. That's how it goes. Still got some contracts left to trade, so it could jump up there, potentially. Let me know if you guys see anything. I'm just kind of, the market just feels quiet to me, like a quiet post non-farm payrolls Friday. It could be just me, but I'm just not in the mood to like jump around and take a bunch of risk. What about you guys? There's ES just kind of sitting, Nasdaq, Dow, Russ, gold, silver, copper, platinum. Yeah, I mean, ultra bonds, I don't mind it, but there's crude. That was the nice, I think that was kind of the nice pullback on crude right there. So guys, I'm just kind of not in the mood today. I'm waiting for Aaron to go on Top Step TV. I think that's going to be fun. It's been a long week with my kid and everything else, so I'm just going to kind of not do a whole lot the rest of the day besides watch Aaron on Top Step TV and start my weekend early. So you guys have any questions about anything? Yeah, I think that was the retrace right there. Not a bad pullback. I mean, look, pulled back to these. It's pretty good. I'm just kind of not feeling it today. And when I'm not feeling it, I just kind of feel like everything I would do would be forcing it. So I'm just going to kind of listen to my body and my mind and my emotions and wrap it up early and head into the weekend with a nice green week. You know, didn't make super tons of money, but made decent money. And I just want to recharge and get ready for next week. So I'm just going to kind of do that. I mean, we had a really good week overall in terms of reading where things are going, which is fantastic. I'm really excited about the algos, like more than ever, because I just want to take more advantage of the end of day calls and have the algos be able to monitor those zones. Then you don't have to choose where you put your order. So I'm pumped about that. So absolutely already gave 50 points. Yeah. I think it's you guys do what you got to do, but I'm kind of just I think it's smarter to let these markets, see where they close, regroup, get ready over the weekend for next week, and just prepare to have a great week next week. Because yesterday's price action was really weird, and then the recovery we're seeing today, yeah, it's a little bit of a squeeze, but the fact that so far the Nasdaq is, I don't know, it's just something doesn't look right. So hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you in the Discord. And yeah, just let's get rested and ready for next week. All right. Take care, you guys. Thanks for being here. Remember, Aaron is going to be on Top Step TV. Go support him. I'm going to be there supporting him. And I'll remind you guys in the chat. Okay, take care, you guys.